face and start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares on the best part of my day.
The goods from the woods.
Hot damn!
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley.
I'm Sam Harder.
And Carter Glasscock
Is a stupid piece of shit.
Motherfucker. Hey, Carter, what you up to? I'm at the grocery store. What's up, man? Podcasting with an extremely special guest. What's your fucking problem, Carter?
I'm buying 2 pounds of ham at the fucking John's.
Come on.
Because all I know how to make is ham sandwiches.
These are real things.
Yeah.
That Carter did. Yeah, he
He bought 2 pounds of ham and 2 pounds of turkey because
Yep.
he didn't know what a pound of meat is.
Yeah, and I believe at least a quarter of a pound of each went bad before
of
he could eat it
course.
because that's too much food for a person.
That's so much meat.
And joining us today, she is a comedian. She is brilliantly talented, and she also happens to live right next door. Our friend
Courtney Peterson.
Courtney, how you doing?
I'm doing really good. I'm grossed out by freaking Carter's ham debacle. I feel like every guy I know that's like, I feel like there's a lot of guys that I've met that are like, I'd be happy just eating a ham sandwich every day for the rest of my life.
Yeah, those people definitely exist, particularly at like jobs, and it starts early. Like
Yeah.
you can pick those psychos out in the lunchroom at high school. There was a kid ate the exact same meal in the exact same order. And that's the crucial part. That's the real psychopathy. That's where that kicks in. K through 12, I was with, like, we went to the same
Whoa.
elementary school,
Wow.
high school. Like, we went all the way.
I thought you were just going to say high school, but that's
No.
That's
truly...
insane.
yeah,
What did he
that's
eat?
fucked
What
up.
was it?
It was a turkey sandwich, which best I could tell, I never got a look or closer taste of the sandwich or nothing, but best I could tell, it was literally just turkey and cheese and potentially mayonnaise,
Potentially.
and it was cut diagonally.
Okay.
And he would sit down and he would pull all of the items out of his lunchbox and arrange them in front of him.
Oh my God, he's a serial killer.
And then would eat like half a bag of chips. Then he would eat the sandwich, and then he would eat the other half of the bag of chips, and then he would go for Little Debbie snack cakes. Sometimes it was like Swiss cake rolls. Sometimes that was the only variable was the Little
Oh.
Debbie situation.
Okay.
So
he's got a little spice to him, I guess.
Yeah, sometimes he's a little bit oatmeal cream pie. He's a little bit Star Crunch, and then I believe he just would drink milk or some shit.
Yeah. Well, I
But-
heard that's like people like my brother was in the Army Reserve and he was like, yeah, like the key to like being really healthy is eating the exact same thing every day, I guess, which doesn't seem real to me. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like you have to have some variable, but who knows? Maybe that is the secret.
Maybe your body gets used to it or something. I don't know. My mom used to make me the exact same thing pretty much every day.
Yeah.
It was very similar to what you just described.
Yeah.
It was a really shitty turkey sandwich with even no cheese even.
Oh wow.
Wow.
No mayonnaise, just turkey and mustard. My mom said she was afraid the other things would go bad
Wow.
because she's a lunatic.
Wait, you mean from first period to lunch?
Yeah. And I think also it's just she's so cheap. She didn't want to buy cheese.
Oh, wow.
okay.
So I'd get that in a little sandwich bag. Not even a Ziploc. She wouldn't spring for the actual ones that would close.
Oh, like the ones that fold over?
The foldovers,
Yeah.
the dime bags.
That
Yeah.
is cheap as hell.
And then we would get a bag of chips. Not an actual bag of chips. She would put chips in one of those sandwich bags.
Oh hell yeah.
I do kind of like am jealous of that though, because my mom would just write me a check at the beginning of every week, and then I would just get the lunch at school, and she'd be like, "Here's a $10 check," and that's all I got.
I would sometimes I was on like free or reduced lunch, and when I was on reduced lunch, I would have to bring in money, and it would be like 75 cents or 30, whatever amount
Yeah.
it was. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But my mom didn't trust me to just have that change in my pocket, so she would put that in one of the bags.
Wow.
So no matter what I was doing, it came in a little sandwich bag.
A lot of protection.
And then the kids would look at me and make fun of me over the bag. They'd be like, "What the fuck? Why do you have change in a fucking plastic bag?"
Oh, it's the bag kid. Look
Yeah.
at him.
That's a terrible thing to get bullied over.
Look, there's a reason I do a podcast now.
I was lucky. I was best friends with the kid with the lunch lady's son in high school, so I felt like I kind of did luck out there at lunch because I would get like extra, mashed potatoes or whatever with turkey and mashed potato day.
I was
Sounds
also
good.
friends with the lunch lady's son.
No way.
Weirdly, and I don't think I never got hooked up or anything. I didn't
really?
get extra pizza or nothing. I didn't get the perks.
I definitely
but-
got extra cookies, but we would also just like get high in her garage all the time
Hell
too.
yeah.
So she was a cool lunch lady mom.
Yeah, that's cool.
The lunch ladies have got to be probably the coolest overall.
Yeah.
I think of school employees.
Well, anytime you're giving people food, you're great. One of my friend's grandmas worked in the cafeteria.
Oh yeah.
And it was a Mexican lady, and so we got super excited on enchilada day because I don't think she followed the actual recipe
Oh,
she's
she's
supposed
wow.
She just did her own recipe.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, I kind of want to be a lunch lady.
All right, follow
Kind of
your
sounds
dream.
fun.
Morning.
It's very pleasant.
Because I have a job right now where I hand out food to employees
yeah.
at a tech company.
Oh,
kind
that's
of a
right.
lunch lady.
Yeah, and they like me. They have no
Yeah.
reason to, but they're just like, oh, this guy gives me food. He's fine.
Yeah. Did they call you boss or chief or Haas?
I wish. Somebody told me I looked like the guy from Get Shorty the other day.
Oh hell yeah. Okay.
Oh wow.
And other than that, I don't know. I
Do
don't
you ever
hardly,
get like flirted with or like little extra nice of people that you give them extra food or anything? Ever?
No, I don't think the girls at this tech company, I don't think their type is the guy serving them lunch. Unfortunately.
I think because I work in a tech company and I flirt to get extra food, maybe it's just me.
Yeah. How much did the kids at your school love the pizza Lunchables? The just cold. Because at my school, people acted like that was like a 10 out of 10.
Revolutionary.
Yeah. They really did
absolutely.
act like it was the best lunch you could get.
That's-
They're awful.
That's actually where I jumped into the Lunchables game.
Really?
I was never a Lunchables kid, and then the pizza Lunchables came out. Fuck lunch. That was snack time.
Wow.
Yeah, I liked them pizza Lunchables for snack time.
I liked the turkey and cheese cracker one. I never really got into the pizza one too much. Didn't they have a nacho one too?
Yeah.
Cold
maybe,
nut. Ugh.
maybe a taco one.
Yeah, the pizza one I recall making myself think was good.
Yeah, because as a little kid, you don't know what good pizza is supposed to taste
You're
like.
just like, hey man, it's sauce, it's cheese, it's good.
Bread.
It's sort of bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that weird like refrigerated like
And the sauce is so
Flatbread.
sweet.
It's so hard to describe like the texture of that bread because it was they tried to like make it seem crispy, but then it was just like a stale
like
wet
a crumble.
thing.
Like
Yeah.
it like crumbled.
it would absorb the moisture of the refrigerator, and that's
Yeah.
really what. So it would, it'd be like if you turned the baking soda in the back of the fridge into a.
Yeah,
that's
but then
true.
it wouldn't absorb any of the sauce. It was just like squeezing the ketchup sauce on top of like a cracker, like
my
a
God.
soggy cracker or something.
This is making me hungry.
I was gonna say, I know we've got people out there that have kids. Please tweet at us if you're sending your kids to school with the pizza Lunchables. I don't know if those still exist. I assume it does.
They
They
do.
do. I've seen
They do?
them.
Okay.
I see them at the store.
The last Lunchables thing I remember, and I think this must have been when I was in college, was they had some sort of Lunchables, but then they started making to go with it like a cola.
Really?
And it was but it was like Oscar Mayer brand cola, and it's one of those things where you're like, Oscar Mayer shouldn't be making colas.
No.
Yeah.
Stick with the wieners.
Hot dog flavored cola.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Limp Bizkit's cola company.
I know
Yeah.
they had. I remember them having Capri Suns, I think, but I never remember them having
Oh
a
yeah,
cola.
Capri Suns were good.
And the
Oh,
dessert,
yeah.
I always love the piece of candy, obviously. So
Remember the Capri Sun scandal where people were finding like slime in them?
no,
Oh no.
Yeah, at one point people were like, somebody like, I don't know if their son got sick or something, but I think they cut off the corner of a Capri Sun and there's all this like nasty gelatinous brown. So you could
Oh, no.
try bringing this up right
Yeah,
now
yeah,
on
I'll
the
look it up.
computer.
This is from 2012. Two Virginia Beach families said that Capri Suns they recently purchased did not taste right and even had grown mold. Jaquan Harbison told his aunt something wasn't right with his Capri Sun. Quote, "It tasted nasty. It tasted like Wait. Oh, this is his aunt. Okay, not the kid. The next quote is, "It really tasted like champagne."
Oh.
I was like, does the kid know what champagne tastes like?
Yeah, the kid's like,
Fermented Capri Sun, though.
Yeah. So this sounds
Ooh.
like this was just in like Virginia Beach.
I feel like they're gonna make that. They're gonna make like an alcoholic Capri Sun because they're, you know what I mean?
White Claw's popular.
Right. That would make sense. Like a little White Claw in a pouch.
Aren't there pictures of it? Does this article have pictures? Because I remember one of them having pictures.
Oh, it's bad.
Oh,
wait,
yeah.
let
It
me
looks
see.
disgusting.
We'll put this on our Twitter. We're at the Goods Pod. This is yeah. Well, so what it's depicting here, and I think I've told this on the show before, is when I first got into like a dorm where I wasn't living at home anymore.
Yeah.
One of the first things I did, I went to the grocery store, got some Capri Suns, came back to the dorm, filled my cup up with ice, cut those corners off, and just filled the cup and drank it like a human being and not
Yeah.
out of a pouch. And it was great.
Yeah, like an adult drinks a
Yeah,
Capri Sun.
exactly. This is how adults drink Capri Suns. Oh, it happened again in later in 2012. Oh, okay, so like
It was a consistent thing.
yeah, North Carolina boy found a slimy object his mother believed to be a worm inside of a Capri Sun container.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I miss the milk. And did you guys in high school have milk pouches?
No,
Like,
we had the classic, the carton with the
Yeah.
where you
We had like little, like they were just like little square bags, like of regular milk or chocolate milk, and you would just stab these bags with a straw, and that's how you would drink milk. And isn't like I don't even know how they package these and things.
There was like a plastic bag because I
Yeah.
remember the cardboard box that you would stick a straw in.
No, this one was like a little square, like little plastic bag that you would just pierce. This is the chocolate milk thing. Actually, I just realized, I just looked it up, and I think it's a Canadian thing. And I grew up on the border, and I realized like it's a Canadian thing to have that.
that's
Okay.
that's just a bag of milk.
I know. I don't like
That's
it.
what she said.
I know. I wasn't able to quite picture it. Wow,
That is a bag of milk.
that's a fucking bag of milk. Who thought that was a good idea?
I don't know. I guess Canadians.
Yeah.
Easy to package. I feel like I remember in elementary school we would just like end up like throwing it at each other like a little bean bag or something.
Yeah. If that busted, that'd be a terrible day. Yeah, Canada, people say, it's like America, but slightly different. So that makes sense. Carter's still not here.
Carter's still not here. By the way, the worm they found in the Capri Sun. No, don't worry. It was just mold.
Yeah.
It was a mold that they thought was,
It was a worm.
It's because if you see the picture, it looks all like long and skinny and
Yeah.
like squiggly.
No,
Did they
no,
ever
ma'am.
find out the cause? Was it just because they don't clean the machines? That
Well, it says that one of the explanations was that because the pouch, I guess, doesn't have like preservatives or something in it, like that they grow more quickly in there. So apparently you need all that glutamate and bullshit that's in all the foods to stop worm-like mold from growing in the pouches.
Wow, that's so depressing.
I mean, I guess it's kind of reassuring to know that there's no preservatives in a Capri Sun.
Yeah, you're just susceptible to worm mold disease, but
Yeah. You can either have whatever that glutamate sorghum jelly gum bullshit or worm like mold.
How many sodas would you guys drink in a day?
oh god, it's bad.
What,
I
like
used-
as a child?
Yeah,
Oh,
my mom
Christ.
had to start hiding the sodas from me.
Yeah,
telling me I could have one a day.
well, we didn't have cans. We had 2 liters.
You had bags.
We had bags of soda.
It's like a volcano, one of them volcano bong machines just filled with Coke.
And we never got the name brand. We always, because we grew up with the grocery store called Wegmans, and so we'd get W Pop, and that's how we called it. W Pop.
okay.
And then we would have like, it would be for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We would just drink W Pop Cola. It was disgusting.
Oh man, do you know about the YouTube channel Soda Head?
No.
Oh, what is this?
There's just this weird guy that chugs soda
Have I seen
in
this?
his basement.
His poor esophagus.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to make fun of him because he seems like maybe mentally disabled or something. But there's this weird episode where he like chugs a soda and then like coughs something up, and this weird like like a substance that looks like it's a Capri Sun. Like he coughs up that.
Oh,
Like
God.
bile? That sounds like bile.
And it's like on his face. Soda Head, I think it's called.
Wow,
God.
that's intense.
Yep, I found it.
It's crazy how many YouTube channels of people just like harming their bodies. Like watching one Wreck-It. There's one guy dressed like Wreck-It Ralph, and just like he'll take like a bong rip or something and then chug a beer in between each rip, and then he just goes Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, I think we mentioned him on here before. Superhuman is my favorite. The this one is for juggalos and juggalettes.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what does
hope
he
you
do?
like it. And then
He just hurts himself.
It's a kid who just jumps onto light bulbs and
Oh, God.
and he's always doing like it's basically like diving elbow drops, right? But onto tables, light bulbs. My favorite was he's like, I'm going to be jumping onto Twisted Christmas ornaments, and it was like Christmas ornaments produced by the band Twisted, which is like
Oh,
a subset of ICP. And I'm
Twist.
like, how does Twisted have Christmas ornaments? And then he jumps
That's
on
a
them.
record label. The Psychopathic record label loves merch.
Yeah, oh yeah, for
They
sure.
have fans that support them so fucking generously that they would buy anything with the label on it.
Yeah. Oh, I remember
Yep.
they had that weird reality show on VH1, the White Rapper Show.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
what?
Yeah,
You
I
don't
do
remember this?
No.
Oh, it was like a competition, and this can actually lead us into what we're going to talk about today. The VH1, it was during the height of the like celebrity, when they were doing like Rock of Love and
Oh, yeah.
Flavor of Love and all that shit. They also had a show that I believe only went one season called the White Rapper Show.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. Only once.
with MC Search from Third Base as the host, and the show was a competition show of a bunch of white guys who were trying to be the next big white rappers, and so it was just like all these fucking goons, just these idiots.
Yeah, of course.
And then like one or two people who were like pretty good. You're like, you shouldn't have done this. You should have just
Yeah, the two guys who made it to like the final, and then a
Yeah.
bunch of guys who they purposely cast to be embarrassing.
Yeah. It was like around the time of like Jamie Kennedy's film Malibu's Most Wanted. I think that was like
sure.
that time where it was.
Big trucker hat, white rapper time.
Yeah. The song Wankster was really big.
Yeah.
Like it was.
This show was full of wanksters.
Yes, exactly. And so they all had it was like they would narrow them down slowly, and but one of the things was they would travel around and kind of talk to other rappers and other white rappers specifically, and of course Eminem was like not anywhere near this show.
Of course not.
He had wanted nothing to do with it, but they had no problem at all when they went to Detroit, because like the specter of Eminem,
This is the home of our king.
right. The specter of Eminem looms large over the show, even though his name goes unspoken. But when they go to Detroit, they did manage to meet up with, if I'm not mistaken, it was Kid Rock and then also Insane Clown Posse.
Wow.
And the big, kind of thrust of the angle with Insane Clown Posse is them just being like, it's all about merchandising. Your talent actually is second to how you can present yourself and sell yourself. And then they go.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
It's kind of true. But then they go into their merch warehouse.
Yeah.
Which is like the size of a fucking indoor football arena. Like it's massive. And it's just like they're all black t-shirts. There's not a single t-shirt in any other color.
In here, we do all our graphic arts, All of our artists design their own stuff.
These dudes had a studio, an editing room for videos, their own radio station, their own factory with just like tons of clothing and all different merchandise. They were just beasting on the independent game.
Carter, still not here.
What the fuck?
How long does it take to buy fucking ham?
I don't know.
I just want to say, how long were you gone to that wedding, Rivers?
Just one night.
Just one
overnight.
night.
Yeah.
Carter let the house fall apart so much in one night. He didn't refill the water filter. I walked in the bathroom. There's no toilet paper
TP.
in the bathroom.
Yep.
How's he wiping his ass? We don't know.
There's a lot of what do you call those?
Q-tips.
Q-tips.
Oh, no.
That's the only thing in that bathroom right now.
I mean, that would be kind of a miniature version of how the Romans did it.
Yeah,
The Romans had a stick with a sponge on the end.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's so fancy.
And then they'd rinse it in vinegar.
What?
Yeah.
I wash myself with a rag on a stick. It's one of my favorite Simpson lines ever.
Well, I woke up this morning and I looked out my door. I could tell my milk cow, I could tell by the way she lowed. So if you see my milk cow, I want you, please drive her on. 'Cause I ain't had no milk and butter since my cow's been gone. The milk cow blue.
That's just a bag of milk.
I know.
So Courtney is a super fan.
Formerly recovering
super fan of, speaking of reality TV, Big Brother.
Big Brother, yes. Are you familiar? Have you ever watched the show before?
I have never watched Big Brother before. I know they didn't they film it at CBS Studios at some point, right?
Yeah, I think it's still CBS.
Like they're just like are they in an actual house or
No,
are
it's
they
not an
It's a
actual
That's what I
house.
thought. Yeah,
it's
they're
a
just
studio.
locked in one of the studios over there. Yeah.
Right, and they have no access to the outside world for like 3 months.
They
And
have
then,
no idea of any news that's happening.
No,
right?
they don't. Unless once in a while you'll see a season where like someone's grandpa dies and they have to tell them.
I thought you were saying somebody just walks in and is like, hey, 9/11 happened.
Speaking of 9/11, I just found this out, like, just because since 9/11 just passed, Big Brother, the people that are in the house right now, because we're actually about to get to the finale right now of the current Big
And you
Brother
say you're
season.
recovering.
Yeah. Okay, I'm like back on
look
it now.
who it
Wow,
is.
look who it
Hey, look at this guy here. All right.
Well. Time to get roasted.
So how much lunch meat did you buy today?
That's what we all want to know.
3 packs. I got turkey. I got ham. I got roast beast.
Roast beast?
It's disgusting.
Are you Dr. Seuss?
3 meats for me.
Actually, that's a good band name, dude. Roast Beast.
I mean, it was. I was like speeding over here, and
Which store did you go to?
TJ's, baby. Trader Joe's. I'm hooked now. I'm late to the party on that one. I'm like, they have everything. And yeah, it was just like cooking in my car, and then I was like blasting Depeche Mode on the way here for some reason. And it was a weird look. It was a weird. If someone were to pull me over, just like blasting Depeche Mode and like lukewarm
With a bunch of meat in your back.
Bunch of meat, yeah. Had some frozen mac and cheese, just all the stuff you need. All the stuff you need.
The bachelor meals.
The bachelor meals. I like kicked the door down to that TJ's too. I had to take a shit like so bad.
Do they have a nice bathroom there?
It was nice to hold up a TJ's employee who had to use it.
Oh, no.
I kind of gave him one of these looks like, sorry, dude.
Well, we did notice there's no
We know we only
toilet
got a
paper.
10-minute break.
No toilet paper here, so you're probably saving that shit. Fuck buying toilet paper. I'm going to Trader Joe's later.
I got some. Is it not here anymore?
Fuck, I don't.
Did you buy one roll?
I bought like a family pack, like a Midwestern family pack. So.
I don't know. There's just none on the holder.
Oh, jeez, that's my fault. I'm dropping the ball left and right here. I'm telling you.
Anyways, 9/11.
Oh yeah, funny topic. Yeah, I got a funny story about 9/11.
No, I was just gonna say they kind of came under fire recently because all the house guests took a bunch of red and blue Fruit Loops and did a tribute to 9/11 by writing out 9/11 we'll never forget in Fruit Loops for the live feeds.
On like just a table.
Just on a table.
This is the TV show Big Brother. Correct?
Yeah, we're talking about.
Yeah.
So they have no access to the outside world, so they're like, yeah, the world will love this, so we'll just do that made out of Fruit Loops.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they're you see a lot of ignorance.
3,000 people died.
Do they have a calendar? Did they just intuit that it was 9/11?
I think they know they don't treat them like prisoners. They just take away their sense of time.
Well, there was that Japanese game show that's like that, where they basically just took a person, put them in essentially solitary confinement, and see how insane they went. And he went insane.
Yeah.
He actually went crazy.
Well, that's like a Nazi experiment for sure. This is like a mild Nazi experiment.
Okay. Oh, but that other thing is coming soon, I'm sure.
A mild Nazi experiment. Does sauerkraut go with everything?
When we go full on horrible USA country, that will be a TV show. It'll be like The Running Man, you know?
For sure, yeah.
Where they'll just be like, okay, we're going to bring a reality show cameras into prisons and see, which they already sort of do, but they're going to show the really torturous stuff they do in there.
Yikes.
Instead of the fun, scared straight stuff.
Is it like is it a competition within a prison?
No, just they show like the lockup, MSNBC lockup stuff, where they're just like, yeah, I love to keep razor blades inside my mouth so the guards can't find them, and then cut people in the face.
Yeah, when they like put each other's hands in like warm water so they piss the prison bunk or something like that.
Yeah.
Those are the types of fun prison pranks.
Yeah.
That's the show, Prison Pranks.
Prison pranks. See, they just think that I joined the Aryan Brotherhood, but I didn't really.
First couple months, it's like camp, you know?
So, how long have you been watching this show?
Well, on and off. So, I mean, I started when I was a kid, because it started in the U.S. in, like, 2001.
That's
so
the weird thing about Big Brother is that, like, it's a show that I remember came out, it's a British show, right?
Yeah.
Started in England, and then Survivor hit, and that was the next thing that they unveiled here, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 2001.
Yeah.
And the thing I remember about it is that I remember seeing, like, the first season, because that was, you know, after Survivor, it was like, oh, yeah, let's look
was
all these
huge.
reality shows, right?
Where can we lock people away from society?
It was the beginning of our voyeuristic society of, like, just wanting to...
But when that starts, like, I remember people watching it and be like, it's not as good as Survivor. And then I literally didn't hear anything about it for, like, 20 years. And then just in the last, like, couple of years, all of a sudden, people are just like...
Well, people have been loving it the whole time.
That's like my big blindness is, like, the shit that, like, CBS is this thing that everyone watches and no one talks about.
Yeah, it's like the alt scene for reality TV.
It really is. Yeah,
it really very much is, because it's like it plays in so many different countries too. There's like tons of countries that Big Brother's in, and in my darkest super fan of life, I was watching it in 4 different countries.
Oh wow!
Yeah, which is insane. And
what are the other ones?
I was watching a US. I was watching Australia, which has a different format. UK, I was watching, and then Canada, which has the same format as US.
Okay.
And then there was like a time where I watched Celebrity Big Brother, which is not as fun.
It's not as fun. Okay.
Well, there was one with Gary Busey on it that was actually really fun, and Dustin Diamond, and that was like an insane one.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, because those guys are insane.
Did they just throw a bag of Coke in the house? Let them go crazy.
Straight virtue. All the stuff that Gary Busey likes to.
Oh, man. Yeah. How many acronyms did Gary Busey have?
Oh, I don't even remember. He was nuts, though, and everybody hated him, which I felt bad about.
Well,
he seems like a pretty annoying guy.
Yeah, I think he was just like a gross old man and would just like fart a lot and stuff and just kind of be like, burp. Like that was just him.
You ever snorted heroin? You ever snorted heroin?
Screech is like, yeah.
Yeah.
I left half my brain on Wilshire.
Well, I remember Dustin Diamond was very freaking out about people calling him Screech. Like he has a very big thing about that. Like you can't call him
he doesn't
that.
like that.
Yeah.
I'm nationally known comedian Dustin Diamond.
Porn star.
He wants to be known for his porn, I think.
Yeah,
more than anything.
Or he Dirty Sanchez somebody, I think. That was what he
good.
did.
Yeah.
I'm not that I've seen it or anything, but you know.
So you started watching early on.
Yeah, so when I was a kid, and then I got back into it, like, I don't know, this was like 2013 or 14 and I started, like, that's when I got, like, really crazy into it. Because it's, like, a thing where, you know, you have, like, the episodes, which are, like, 3 times a week, right? But then you have there's live feeds 24/7.
Yeah.
So the shows, so it's literally constant television.
Oh, so that must have been where the resurgence came from, is just streaming and YouTube and everything like that.
Probably.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay.
And so there's like a whole community, right, of like Big Brother super fans, and it's like this whole like they have I don't know, a bunch of pages and forums. So there's people monitoring the live feeds 24/7 and like updating this forum constantly. And it's like this big sort of like Reddit thing. There's like fantasy football bracket things going on. It's pretty intense. Yeah.
So what is the format exactly? You're locked in this for how long are you in the studio?
Well, for the US one, and so like Big Brother came from like the 1984 book.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and then like so it's like you're watching them and they're in there for like 90 days.
Okay.
I think at least. Yeah,
probably if you win, you're in there that long because they kick people out.
That's what I was going to ask. They eliminate people. Okay.
Yeah, and it's all like done within. So it's like it's all like internal. Like they're voting each other out, and so it's a lot of like weird like gameplay and strategizing and lying and manipulating and like. So it's like it's a pretty intense thing. And then they have like competitions which are physical and some are mental, and so you can get. And so what?
stare downs.
Yeah, and they have like
struggle sessions,
quiz ones. But what I like about it is I feel like it's the only reality show that really hasn't like changed that much since it first came out. And like because
if it ain't broke.
Yeah, exactly. And you can have different kinds of people.
That should be CBS's slogan. If it ain't broke, CBS.
If it ain't broke, carpool karaoke.
Oh my God, true.
Big Bang Theory. Yeah.
But yeah, so there's all different kinds of people. Like, so there's like obviously they have a majority hot people because you want to see them hooking up, and that's like the fun thing. It's like you see like showmances they call them, and they
just like the book
use it as strategy.
Yeah.
How much money is there in like Ugly House? Do you think? Like if you had a
calling it Ugly House?
No, if you had a Big Brother type show that was just specifically ugly people.
I would love that. I wish they had more ugly people. And same thing with like Bachelor. I wish there was like a fat ugly Bachelor more than anything in the world.
Oh, that'd be great because then they'd all be like lying and be like, I just feel like we had this special connection. Like this is fucking, and he's like, like picking his boogers and eating it while he's like deciding who to eliminate. She's like, please pick me.
She's like, I've never been in love.
I've never. I need a maid who will look after my rash. Constant attention must be paid to my rash.
I'm a disabled veteran, and I need a nurse and a housewife.
Uggo house.
Uggo house, dude.
Uggo. I missed that phrase.
But they do have a couple ugly people they put on this show every season, and they have a couple of old people, and so usually the ugly old people get to go home first because they're easy targets.
I was about to say, yeah.
But this time around, there's the ugly old guy is in the finale, so I'm very excited about that.
Wow.
He's a Southern dad guy, and he's like. And he rules. His name is Cliff, and he's just like he's very true to his wife, and he's just like very Southern, and like he'll come out of nowhere and just kill them in competition. So I'm very excited about that.
I think in the industry we call that a Susan Boyle.
Yes, exactly. Like he's everyone's favorite, and so even if he doesn't win, he still has a chance of becoming America's favorite, which gets like I think like $30,000 or something like that.
Wow. So there's like a side competition.
Yeah, yeah.
Side pot.
But the main winners get $500,000, and then runner up gets $50,000.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty exciting. Well, but the cool thing is that they all have to do it internally, so they have and like the UK and Australian version, it's like audience votes for who they like the best and like who has to leave.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And so that's more like it's like a popularity contest. Like that one's more obnoxious because you're just trying to like be the
pander.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Okay, so the American one, they all vote on who gets kicked out, and then in Australia. Australians vote?
Yeah, like it's like a TV thing where you live vote like American Idol.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, but this one is like you have to create alliances, which is fun, and so like those are really cool, and so they always come up with like these dumb names, like we're the Bone Collectors, and we're Alliance of Six, or whatever. I don't know if that's a real one, but it's very much like that.
That sounds like Uggo Bachelorette.
Yeah, it's like that was the Bone Collectors, what my chess team used to call each other. Just kidding, I don't play chess. I'm more of a checkers kind of person.
Yeah, it's easier.
Yeah, it's easier.
One of my favorite parts of Big Brother is they end up having sex on the show.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
They do.
They're locked in a fucking studio for 3 months.
Well, here's the thing. Here's a dramatic thing is I didn't realize this, but one of the rules is that you can't like masturbate I guess, in the house or something. I just figured this out, and I think somebody was sent home in the first week because they broke that rule.
What?
I could be wrong. I might have just like dreamt this up, but I'm pretty sure they have like.
We can tell from the
rules.
bathroom cams that.
I was gonna say, there's no camera in the bathroom.
Well, I
right?
think one of the things is they sleep in like bunked style rooms.
Yeah.
So there's like 5 beds in a room. So
What if the person was just really like not sneaky about it? Like they went to the bathroom like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, self pleasure, and then they're like, well, we got to kick them out.
I'm coming all over everything.
Other people's possessions. Oh,
Right on the toothbrushes.
why can't I stop?
I didn't like how Neil jacked off on everything. We're going to vote him off. We fucking hate him.
He's a bloody perv, isn't he? Entering and wanking off in everybody's mouthwash and all this. No, I don't care if the whole country knows it.
We can't have that going on, all right? I mean, I know he's a big Akadeka fan, but I don't care. That's what they call AC/DC over there.
If you want cum, you've got it. Oh, Jesus. That's filth.
Oh. So what are some of the competitions that they do?
Okay, so sorry, I just looked up Big Brother can't masturbate on Google, and there's a lot that came up.
Let's go through the results. Result number 1.
Well, Big Brother house guest caught masturbating on camera from Bustle.
Where? All right.
Well, there's a lot of people who, because there's 24-hour live streams like we talked about. There's people who cut up the live streams of when they catch people doing weird or sexy shit, like people having sex, and they'll upload them to like porn sites.
No, they don't do that.
I used to be 13 and masturbate. I've watched it
in a bunk room with 5 other people present and a camera.
Yeah, well, I think on the live feeds, when I used to like watch them, it would be like anytime something like weird would happen, or like if they gave away like a big spoiler, they would like just like cut to like a fish tank or something and just leave it on there for like a while.
Okay,
so they did have some censored things.
Well, so I mean, just a practical question: do they film you in like the shower and the toilet?
It's like blocked, so like you can see like their feet and their head, but it's like they have like one of those showers where it's like one of those doors, so you can't like see them like naked, but you can like see them showering.
What about the taking a shit?
Yeah,
that one is closed. They do have a closed option for that.
But they do have like a sound thing that
I don't know. Honestly,
multiple mics.
They can't not have their mics on. They'll get yelled
in the
at.
fucking toilet.
like through the window. Like some guy has to hold a boom mic through the window.
I mean,
just has a surgeon mask on. I hate this job.
Now that you unfortunately you've told me this, and now I'm just thinking about like ways to get away with jerking off in the house, and it's
and Rivers is an expert.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, well,
he's very sneaky.
Oh yeah, well, and it's obvious to me that you take your mic, your lav mic, and you put it in your mouth.
Oh wow!
To silence it, and then you go to town on the toilet.
Just breathe through your nose.
I just hear like
sound like a dog.
Yeah, that's a lot of editing through that stuff.
It's just like, Carter, please move your mic.
Yeah, and then at the end you go, oh.
But no, they have some good competitions.
Yeah, who cannot jerk off the longest?
Yeah,
being the
There's like a lot of Seinfeldian competitions going on Big Brother.
But they have the twists come in because of this. So like they have what's called a head of household competition, and that's who's like the king of the castle for the week, and they get to decide the 2 people that are nominated, right? so they nominate 2 people, and then those 2 people plus a bunch of other ones do a power of veto, and so the power of veto means you have the option.
Don Vito from Viva La Bam.
He bumps into you. Gotta get out of here. You've been voted out. Can I borrow your laptop computer?
I want a 14-year-old.
Even beyond the grave, I'm a pervert.
Courtney's about to try to explain the rules, and they make no fucking sense.
Oh yeah.
Look, okay. Okay, so the power of veto gets to either keep the nominations the same or take a person off. And if you are one of the people that are nominated, you can take yourself off, or if you're not nominated, you can take your friend off. And then the head of household has to pick someone else to go up.
Okay.
And then...
Does anybody understand this so far?
I'm like nodding my head like I do.
And then it's the live eviction. And then you go into a room and you cast your vote. Each person like who you want to vote off.
Okay.
And then that person goes home, but you don't. It's not like a thing where they show everybody who votes. So that's when like little fun little twists come in where they're like, oh, we blindsided you. We said we were going to vote at this person, but we actually kept this person. And that's how you break up like the alliances and things like that.
Sure, it builds a big moment of betrayal,
Yes.
live and all that stuff.
Very Shakespearean, I feel like.
So you said you've been watching this like almost since the beginning. Like, how has the show changed? Because I feel like stuff like that, it's almost one of those shows where it's such a kind of broad concept for a show that all the little rules seem like they might have come in. Was this show fully formed like immediately, or has it changed?
I think that's like what I explained to you was very basic level what Big Brother is.
Yeah,
so that's like so I could go into so many different directions because they have a lot of like things like, for instance, they have a thing called the double eviction where they play out an entire week in one day, and then they do like they have like twists. So it's like the whole concept of Big Brother is expect the unexpected. That's their tagline.
Yeah.
And then they'll throw in like different things to fuck up the rules a lot.
Okay.
Like you'll never know. Like one day they'll be like, oh, like now we have the America votes for their favorite, and they get to come in and fuck up the nominations, and then nobody knows who America's favorite was, and so there's like all these like little things that come in and fuck it up.
Huh.
So, you guys want to watch this? Or?
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like when I explain, everyone's like, I feel like I could get into this.
Yeah,
but I won't.
I just took a picture of Carter's face trying to understand the rules.
Oh yeah, please text that to me. We'll put that up on our Twitter. We're at the good spot.
You catch a good side of me. Yeah.
You look engaged and disengaged at the same time.
It's just so confusing.
I also look unshowered, and it's all good, you know.
Like you just took a big shit in a grocery store.
Yeah. Oh my god. That was like that was like such a big shit of like I felt like I was on mushrooms afterwards. I felt like the new Tool album. It reminds me of like I was on a tour the other day. Like you guys were talking about Survivor earlier.
Yeah.
And there's this like woman from Tennessee on this tour. She was she's kind of had like this kind of voice and stuff. And she was going like, I just saw that Survivor with that one guy, Richard, and he's walking around all naked. It's like, this is kind of weird.
Wait.
That was so many years
like
ago.
2001. Yeah.
2000.
Yeah.
19 years ago. What do you mean you just saw this?
That's kind of weird.
I was waiting for her to be like, that Chappelle show's kind of crazy. And then 30 years from now, she'll actually see that new special and be like, that's real weird. She's bionic.
I just thought it was interesting that Jay-Z used that song from Annie in Hard Knock Life recently.
Yeah.
Did you see when those two towers fell?
I swear to God, at one point she was like I showed her like where Madonna used to live, and she's like, I just don't know about her. It's like she's in her 60s.
Cone bra, and that's real weird.
It's got that one video where she's kissing Jesus, and I just don't hit me. I don't know.
So I was just reading like the celebrity Big Brother.
Yes.
Intrigues me. So you were saying like it's not quite as good.
I mean, it's on a totally different level, like, because it's like all these people are like performers, so they're not like real people living in a house.
Yeah.
They're all like these like people that are just like obviously doing this for money or whatever.
It's not for charity.
Yeah.
They're all in desperate need of money.
Holyfield, what's
Evander Holyfield,
yeah.
He was on there, and I think he got kicked off for sexist statements.
Oh, good.
Recently?
I think like in the last like 5 years or 6 years or something
so
like that.
I looked up the first season.
These women can't take a punch to the head.
He was my personal favorite house guest. I didn't think what he said was that bad.
What did he say?
I don't remember, but I remember thinking like it was weird that he had to leave.
I'm looking up the first season, which started in 2017, is the first American one, and the house guests were Broadway actress Marissa Janet Winokur.
Don't know who that is.
Ross Matthews of the Tonight Show, the correspondent, the super gay dude that was on the Tonight Show.
honestly about to be like, oh yeah, from Friends.
That's what I thought.
Matthew Perry and Ross combined.
The runner-up in the Miss Universe contest, Ariadna Gutierrez.
Wow, they're really
And then-
digging there for celebrities.
Ariana Grande kind of sweep right in there, didn't she?
The lead singer of the boy band Big Time Rush.
Whoa.
yeah.
The lead singer of a band you've absolutely never heard of.
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Brandi Glanville. And then here's where it starts getting interesting. Shannon Elizabeth.
Okay.
Okay.
She's hot.
Hot.
Keisha Knight Pulliam.
Or the masturbating.
Yeah. Evander Holyfield just in the bathroom.
It's Evander Holyfield's noise in the bathroom.
Keisha Knight Pulliam from The Cosby Show. Chuck Liddell.
Oh
boy.
The
Wait, who's that?
Iceman.
The butterbean of yesteryear.
He's the UFC fighter. One of the
UFC?
really popular UFC
He had like this
fighters.
the mohawk, like this one strip of hair. I don't know why I'm describing what a mohawk is.
You know the one. You know.
Yeah, it was like a really. It wasn't like a spiked one. It was like really flat, and
Yeah.
he was like a champion at one point, and then he just started getting his head pummeled in. He has he has CTE really bad. He does coke a bunch. I think now there's a
Wow.
funny video of him watching the UFC in the crowd, and he's just so clearly on a bunch of coke, and he's like watching the fight, and he's just like jaw jacking. It's great.
And this is where I became aware that this show was still on the air. Was Omarosa.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
That season. That was where she gets on there and her, I guess, insider perspective of the Trump administration came from Celebrity Big Brother. And I
Whoa.
think that's we've talked about on this show that I think the Balloon Boy incident in 2009 was when the news died.
It was Balloon Boy. I don't
remember.
Oh
this?
yeah, there's this thing where like there was supposedly a kid stranded on a hot air balloon, and they were following the balloon around, and then the balloon came down and there was no kid.
There was no kid.
There's
And
just a crazy guy who like called he basically called the authorities to manufacture a news story.
Yeah,
Man,
Whoa.
what a time to
I
be
feel
alive
like I barely
that was.
remember this,
yeah.
but this is huge.
I remember like we were tracking it in school and stuff, and they're like, "This balloon still hasn't come down yet." And we're just thoughts and prayers.
I was at a Mexican food restaurant, and it was on the TV, and everybody in the restaurant
yeah.
was just like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
We did an entire Balloon Boy episode with
Wow.
Steve Chiotakis, who is the host of NPR's All Things Considered here in LA. And
Whoa.
because we had a newsman on the show, and I was trying to think, I'm like, well, what event can I really point to that might be the death of this industry? And I was like, Balloon Boy is certainly the beginning of it.
What year was that?
This was 2009.
Okay.
That's when that's about the time I think the news had the fatal heart attack. And I think Omarosa on Celebrity Big Brother being the best inside information that we had about the Trump administration in 2018 or whatever. I was like, that was the official time. That was the funeral. Like he died in 2009, but that was the funeral.
So, the White House came one step closer to actually becoming a reality TV show last night because former staffer Omarosa appeared on Celebrity Big Brother, where she painted a terrifying picture of her time in the Trump's administration.
Like, I was haunted by tweets every single day. Like, what is he going to tweet next? Does anybody say to him, "What are you doing?" I mean, I tried to be that person, and then all of the people around him attacked me. You know, I'd like to say not my problem, but I can't say that because, like, it's bad. Don't say that. Because we are worried, but I need you to say, no, it's going to be okay. No, it's going to not be okay. It's not.
That's the moment when the snake that's eating its own tail finally gets all the way to where the mouth and the thing ends, and then it disappears.
and it just disappears. Yeah.
They also had Scaramucci, I think, was on it too.
Let's face it, I'm not in love with the president's war on the media or the non-strategic use of his Twitter feed. But he's never tweeted at me. One, I stayed loyal to him. I don't really say bad things about him, although I tell him to knock it off on Twitter, but I'm still want to help him. But if he turned on me, he knows I got a big mouth. That's not going to be great for him.
It was really bizarre. Like, he was casted on Celebrity Big Brother, Scaramucci, and he went on like, "I'm the mooch," right? And then he was on there, but then he decided to like leave. I'm the mooch. He decided to leave after a week and made it seem like it was just like a joke, like that he was just like,
Well, he did the same
surprise
thing.
is I'm here, but the surprise is actually that I'm going to leave.
He did the
That's
same,
how the mooch does it.
He did the same thing as the press secretary. Actually, he was there for what 90 hours.
I think he just like sobered up and was like, "Oh yeah, what am I doing here?"
Well, you got to leave him wanting more.
The last one for this first season, you can tell me if you remember anything happening with this guy. Meadow World Peace, aka Ron Artest, the basketball player, was also on that first season. So.
Wow, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, so he's the guy who famously started the fight known as Malice at the Palace, where he
didn't start it.
Well,
but he finished
somebody
it.
threw a drink. He definitely finished it. Somebody threw a drink at him, and he went up in the stands and started beating the shit out of fans.
Yeah, yeah, not just the guy who threw the drink, just the people
Just
around who were
everybody.
trying to stop him.
It was
too.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty badass.
It's pretty badass,
and he's a good player too. So
Yeah.
Yeah, Petty
fucked
King.
up his whole
I love
career.
a Petty King.
Oh my god. Yeah, that was the first season.
Yeah, so they get all the shit starters on the show and put them in house.
That's what it seems. It seems like the really low rent celebrity version of the Bad Girls Club.
Yeah, it is. Also, Bad Girls Club, great show.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that show.
Oh hell yeah! I run LA. Fucking Natalie.
Don't make me look bad in LA. You gonna be mad because you ain't going to no clubs in Hollywood because I run this bitch. You gonna be mad when I tell them close the rope. She ain't going in. But I've been on private jets all over the world. Everywhere. I got a brand new BMW at 335 right off the Beverly Hills showroom floor. Kendra's getting hooked up with The Good Life, but I can also take it away just as easily because I run LA.
She's yeah.
I like there's like this one scene that I think about all the time where this girl like gets mad that all the girls like woke her up.
What better revenge than to wake them up while they're drooling in their beds with a nice old big hearty marching band? I'm not done. You think I'm done? It's not over till a fat lady sings. Let me hear you say wop 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 wop. I didn't get no sleep because of y'all. Y'all not gonna get no sleep because of me. Wop 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 wop. Get up. All right. I'll get something louder.
If I can't get sleep because of y'all not gonna get sleep because of me. And then she was like, and she would run around banging pots, and it was like,
They should like do a version of that song with like a marching band and shit, and like have like Fergie do it. If I'm not gonna get sleep because of y'all, then you're not get sleep because of me.
That's kind of a good line.
Yeah, it is.
Actually, that's a great idea for a song because you sell it on iTunes and specifically play it when your neighbors are being too loud.
Oh yeah, true.
That's fucking great. Like,
Yeah, it
I
was so
market it to people like us who live within paper thin walls. It's like, oh, are you gonna play fucking ranchero music at 2 a.m? Here you go. Fuck you.
I liked those neighbors. We both share a wall with those guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say, fuck y'all, fuck you, Gopez family.
Yeah,
is this a little before my time? These
this is current.
Dude,
Oh,
it
yeah,
still
they're
happens.
nice.
If
You're just on the other side of the apartment.
Yeah,
Rivers room is when I'm in the bathroom at my house, I can hear it a lot better.
It'll come thumping through the walls. Yeah, you
I'll just hear a baby crying and then just loud bass.
Yeah, yeah. Tuba music. There's certain episodes of this podcast where if you listen really closely, you just hear like boom, 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 boom.
You know,
like coming
if I
in
were
through the walls.
that would be a pretty cool sample to do right before a bass drop, like. You know.
Wee. That's such a good build up too, like that little that point right before the drop.
Like a little kid laughing and clapping. It's like
yeah, the
I did in high school. I told people that my DJ name is DJ Party Child, and it would just be me in a diaper. But
I love that.
I'm sure somebody else is already doing that.
yeah, I think someone beat me to it. That was like 10 years
There's
ago.
a rapper named DaBaby. And at South by
I love
Southwest one year, he just walked around in a diaper in the streets with a baby bottle full of lean.
I love the line from his song where it goes, I'm the baby that'll fuck the babysitter.
Yeah. The fucked up part is he's a good rapper who makes good songs, and he stopped wearing a diaper once he got pretty big.
You grow, you evolve as an artist.
Well,
you know?
it was because him and Bizarre from D12 had to have a fight over who got to be the rapper with the diaper, and Bizarre won.
Also, there's two rappers. There's two rappers right now. One is called Da Baby, and the other one is Lil Baby.
Wow.
Little baby.
Remember Debrat? That was a good one too.
Oh yeah, she was on all that. She had a feature on all that.
What's so bizarre that you mentioned Debrat because I was
It's so bizarre anytime.
but no,
That's it.
specifically like I was at a wedding yesterday, and after the wedding, the house, the Airbnb we were staying at had like a big fire pit in the back.
Yeah.
So we made a fire, a bunch of people sitting around, and we were just like talking about 90s music and shit like that. And I brought up Debrat, and then I was like, I wonder what she's been up to. Turns out she hit a lady in the head with a rum bottle, broke it over her head, and went to jail for 3 years for assault. And she was in jail for like 3 years.
What a little brat.
Yeah, that's bratty. That is bratty.
Yeah, 3 years in jail, 7 years probation. But the reason I wanted to share this is somebody on that edited this Wikipedia is fucking hilarious. So somebody added this nice little joke. So it says the waitress was rushed. Let's see. The waitress? She hit a waitress in the head with a rum bottle. Yeah, the waitress was rushed
Did
to
she leave a tip?
There's your tip.
Rushed to an area hospital. Debrat was sentenced to 3 years in prison, 7 years of probation, 200 hours of community service, and she has since switched over to tequila.
Thank God. Yeah.
Wow, what a great edit on the Wikipedia that no one's caught yet. But, boy, that's hilarious.
I love when people do that. It's like, yeah, I couldn't do whiskey anymore. Now I just drink 13 beers a night.
Yeah, it's good when
I get really crazy on liquor. So.
Yeah,
it's like turns out all of them are the ones that break up your family.
It's like that, it's the red baby.
Give me your top 3 favorite or most memorable characters.
Okay.
From the show.
Well, the one that everyone talks about, which is a season that I haven't watched yet, but there's a guy named like Evil Dick or something, and the kids.
You have my full attention.
But I think he's like a villain that's like notorious for like making like crazy big moves in one of the seasons, and I know that he's like the most notable character for most people, but I never actually watched that season. But he's like the one that's like talking all the shit online now, and he's like he's like the bad boy of Big Brother Nation, you know.
Wait, is he like a moderator on the Reddit or some shit?
Yeah, something like that. But he's like a real like.
He's the guy who's just like hanging out in the high school parking lot, even though he graduated 2 years ago.
Yeah, let me see if I can find a picture of this guy. But the one that I watched, like when I got back into it, the guy that won that season was, which I kind of like feel like was kind of cheating, but he was an undercover cop, which kind of sucked that he won the whole season because he just
he shot the other.
You just felt lied to the whole time.
Yeah, well, he was so good at manipulating and lying to everyone, and then he he was like, I'm a cool guy now, and he's like just like playing along with everybody, and then he just like sailed. I think he's the only Big Brother contestant that never got nominated for the what they call the block, which is the one where the two people decide if they're going home. I can already tell I've lost you guys.
So here's your $30,000, Donnie Brasco ass.
I'm in it for the love. So I love the showmances. Those are my favorite ones.
You're not a fair weather fan.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you just call them showmances?
Showmances. That's what they call them.
That's a new one.
I'm going to jump out the window.
No, I get that. Well, bye.
See you later. I knew I was coming in with a controversial topic.
Showmances? No, I've
Okay, this is Evil Dick. He's
Dear Lord.
He looks like Guy Fieri's evil twin.
Oh my God. We'll put this picture up on our Twitter. We're at the Goods Pod.
He looks like Chris Cornell's shithead brother named Sid or something.
I was going to say, to me, he looks like the lead singer of the band Lit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I like this one, too. Another classic red suit guy.
Oh, my
black nail
gosh.
polish.
Yeah. He does look like
that's a shock jock DJ that's just going through piles of cocaine every morning.
In fact, if you showed me that picture, void of context of this conversation, we're just like, this is what the lead singer of Lit looks like now. I'd be like, yep.
That's like the lead singer of like Taproot or something. Some band you never saw what their members looked like, but you'd heard of them.
Yeah.
Like that's the lead singer of Finger 11. Yeah, that checks out. That looks about right.
Finger 11.
Yeah, who's thought of them in the fucking last 10 years?
Wow.
Finger 11.
Wow.
They're in my top 10.
They're in my top 11.
They're on the tip of my fingers.
They say you die 2 deaths. One, a physical death, and then the second one when the last person who remembers you speaks your name. And I think you've just revived Finger 11 for another week.
Wow.
Hey, you're welcome, guys.
Yeah.
We get a cut of that sweet, those sweet residues.
Yeah. So if you were on the show, what's your strategy? How are you coming in there? Are you playing dirty? Are you trying to be duplicitous? Are you trying to be genuine? Are you trying to be Australia's favorite?
Yeah, well, you may or may not believe this, but I've thought about this a lot.
Yeah, well, I've thought about what I would do if I was Han Solo a lot. So yeah, everybody's got their thing.
Well, I think the key for me is I would try to be like lay low really at first, but I think my downfall is that like I talk a lot of shit, and I feel like that would get me in trouble, and I would definitely become like a target very quickly on because I can't keep my mouth shut. And if I like hear like juicy gossip, like I would just be like, oh my God, you never would believe what I just heard. But I feel like the ones that win are the nerdy ones that kind of like don't say anything at first, so they're not like a target. So if you come in big, you're going to be like the first one that's like that people want to go after. So if you're if you're good at competitions, but if you kind of like lay low and then you like stay under the radar for a while, then you can get past a certain point, and that's when you can start like letting people like know like that you're good at, you're a beast at competitions.
Okay,
so you
like it could work for politics too.
Yeah, true.
Stay in it, lay low, and then pull the wool over.
But I would, but I would definitely try to get into a showmance because those tend to get very far in the game. Because like if you hook up with another person, like if
they can't jack off, so they're like, God, I gotta keep coming.
Everyone's like rock'em sock'em robots like fighting each other because they can't jack off.
Just walk up, you're like, wow, I just always have had a thing for red spiked hair, a bowling T-shirt, and flame tattoos.
I love evil and dicks. Wow, it's so good.
Finger 11. You gotta love them.
But yeah, because they get pretty far, and you have someone that's like very loyal to you. But then and then if you guys come under fire together, you can then campaign against that person and get them out over you.
Okay.
Yeah. So then that's
what are the competitions, by the way? That was the other thing I wanted to know. Like, what are some of the like you said? There's physical and mental. Right?
Yeah, right. So a lot of them are like endurance. So like they'll be like hanging, like the one that was on the other day. They were like standing, they were like holding onto a rope, and they had just a little thing underneath them, and then they were just like being swung around. And like things were hitting them.
This show seems insane.
Like they were being like they were pouring water on them, and they were like hitting the wall, and then like they would blow a bunch of wind at them.
What?
Then, like, whoever
just like
show or a fever dream you had.
This is all from George Orwell's book 1984.
No, it's worse.
Yeah. So the last
150 times worse.
You don't remember like the squirt cannons in 1984?
Yeah.
Everyone remembers that.
Yeah.
I'd much rather have the gin-soaked tear run down my cheek, and I'll say I love Big Brother than this.
Yeah. So then the last person to fall is the one that wins.
So they're just hanging on ropes.
Yeah. So there's something they can last for
water.
hours. Some of them they have to run and like they have to take like a little thing of water and like run across slippery ground to get to the other side and like fill up, and they have to go back and forth like a million times to see who fills it up the fastest. Like those are some like the intense ones. They have like puzzle ones. They have like memory ones, which are my favorite. That's the one that I would succeed at. I feel like is like you have to like memorize everything that happened. Like so throughout the game, like you can't write anything down, but you have to like remember like who went home each week and what happened, because at the end.
Wait, you can't write anything down?
No.
You have to pretend to be illiterate.
No, you can't. You just can't. Like they won't let you because like that'll help your game. You know what I mean? If you're writing like, so you can't like write like because at the end they have like a.
They don't want you doing sabermetrics on Evil Dick.
Yeah. So you have to like know like okay, so in week 2 this person like that went home, like which person like won the veto, and and so like then you'll have to like remember like back to week 2 like who, and so like those are like the memory games, and then they have other gross ones where they just like cover them in goo, a lot of goo.
Yeah, this like the memory sounds like the most fun ones. Like it went from like Guantanamo to like to like fun little like cabin games, and then like Nickelodeon. Like it's all over the fucking
But the
place.
intense ones are crazy. Like I do feel bad. Like they are pretty intense. And so like the old fat and ugly people, like they do. That's another reason why they're targets, is because they can't win the physical competitions because they're so intense.
With the mental stuff, like I can't remember people that I've met 15, 20 times, let alone some dickhead that comes into the studio for 5 seconds and then gets kicked off because
Yeah.
he sucks.
But was there $30,000 on the line?
Yeah, even with 30,000, gun to my head, $30,000. I'm bad at
Well, they'll do ones like they'll show you like a movie poster, right? And then you're supposed to like a bunch of movie posters, and you're supposed to like memorize everything you see on the poster, and then you have to go to another section and like piece back together the poster with the right things, and they'll like throw other things so it'll be like a puzzle, and then like so you'll have to like remember exactly where everything was, and they'll throw in like a different colored ball, and so you have to like make sure you have the right color. You know,
the reason that I think this show is so insane is that
and it
like,
is.
like with Survivor, it's the competitions are based on the location. So they're going to be sort of tropical themed or wherever they happen to be at. So it'll be like, oh, okay, you got to get, you got to walk across this palm tree, this fallen tree to get the bucket of water from what, like they kind of can theme it around an island. This seems like
it's just torture.
A bunch of like fucking British dudes thinking about dominance and S&M stuff and are just coming up with this crazy shit. Like, we'd like to see him hanging on a rope.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll blast water at him. It'll be great.
Yeah.
And you're like, do you have a problem?
Boy, do I love it though, like it really is entertaining.
We'll blast water at him, and then, later on in the day, when they have to go home and have a wank, we'll put the lav mics into their mouths.
We won't let him.
Won't let him. But we'll get a nice soundbite of them having a poo.
We'll tell him that Britain's looking at his ding dong, even though they're not.
All of Britain's laughing at your small pee. Mate. That's what's happening.
It's one of those shows where like the show's content says more about the creator than it does about the contestants.
Yeah,
whoever's coming up with this has a sick brain and should probably be in jail.
Does it make me sick that I really want to be on it though?
Not be on it, no.
Or am I just like a sub person?
No, as long as you're not just like
want to be controlled.
I just want to come up with competitions to make people insane and physically hurt.
Yeah. I mean, you've seen where these people have failed. You know what I mean? You've seen where these come by day assholes where they fuck up, and you're ready.
Yeah, that's true. I just think the money's a big thing. You can win a lot of money. That's nice.
Yeah, money's good.
$30,000 isn't nothing to wipe your nose at.
That's America's favorite. If you win the whole game, you get $500,000 out.
$500K.
Yeah.
Get a hovercraft with that kind of. You can rent a hovercraft for a few months.
Do you guys think you guys
still live in squalor? Hey, I drive a hovercraft to my minimum wage job.
I can't park this fucking thing in here. Don Vito got one. I can't park this fucking thing here with a street parking.
Would any of you guys do a reality show?
Ooh,
depends on the show.
The White Rapper Show.
The White Rapper Show. Yeah.
It's been a while since I've looked into them. I definitely couldn't do Survivor.
No.
I think this Big Brother might be the one for me. What are some of the other reality shows?
Naked and Afraid.
Naked and Afraid.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to intimidate the other person too much. So
sure.
With how afraid I am.
Yeah.
There's The Amazing Race. I think that's
Amazing Race.
Yeah.
Anything that has to do with speed or mental agility.
Yeah.
I think
Bad Girls Club.
Bad Girls Club. Yeah.
I think everyone has always been like, I could be on The Real World. Look, I'm pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, people would like to watch me get drunk and party.
Jersey Shore. Yeah.
Jersey Shore.
That was like a.
Well, they did a. Oh god!
I like how none of us have mentioned Last Comic Standing yet.
Oh yeah. Well, that one they pretty quickly moved away from the we all live in a house together and do challenges format.
Oh, did they used to do that?
It cheapens the legitimate bump you get.
I forgot.
Oh boy, the first season of Last Comic Standing is really something worth watching. It's the one where famously it came down to Dat Fan who eventually won the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Ralphie
May. So it's this thing of that's where I became aware of Ralphie May. It was on that show.
Yeah, same.
And it came down to him, and I'm just like, dude, that dude is the funniest, one of the funniest people I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P.
And then he lost to this giant hack. And I was like, and then later that really did prepare me for comedy. I was like, wow, that's usually how it goes. Actually,
It's not fair.
yeah, it's not a meritocracy at all.
Ralphie May got second, but he still is the far more popular comic.
Right.
He got like 5 Netflix specials or some shit. How many do you have? Like 3? A lot.
He had a lot. Yeah.
That fan does like bringer shows and teaches stand-up classes now.
Nice.
Oh wow, of course.
And Ralphie May, like the year after he got second place, made like $1 million doing just like touring and doing shit.
Well, he did the Juggalo festival too, right? That was like
Oh yeah, there's a great
bringing
clip
it back
of,
around.
There's a great clip of him doing Gathering of the Juggalos where like the people before him are getting like booed and shit. Nobody's listening. He just goes up and he's so good at comedy. He knows exactly how to handle a crowd like that. He just starts talking real fast, doesn't pause at all.
Yeah.
Crowd starts loving him and he just keeps going.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He used to live in Nashville. He lived like right behind the club there, Zanies. And I've actually, humble brag, I've gotten to go to his house twice.
Whoa.
I got high with Ralphie May once.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy. I mean, he would like smoke these like humongous garbage bags full of weed, and he'd be like, "Y'all having a good time?" But he's a really nice guy.
He gave me my first edible when I worked at a comedy club in Florida. Yeah, and I wasn't hanging out with him. He just like gave me the edible, and I just like I was like, okay.
The top 3 in season 1, by the way, Dad Fan, Ralphie May, and Rich Voss.
Oh, I remember Rich Voss. Wasn't he on Tough Crowd sometimes?
Yeah, he was.
Doug Benson was also on that season.
I believe
Was he
Benson was
really?
on season 3 or something like that. Season 2 was John Heffron won the thing, but then in second and third place was Alonzo Bowden, who's still
funny.
around, fucking amazing. Gary Goldman,
he's great.
Jay London, who is still
so no women in the first 2 seasons.
kicking around the open. No, they were on the show. They just got Kathleen Madigan got eliminated 1, 2, 3, 4. She came in 5th place. Tammy Pescatelli in 6th place.
Wow.
Todd Glass and Bonnie McFarlane both got eliminated like right up top. So that one's
Todd Glass. He's so goddamn funny. That's his interesting.
So funny.
Yeah.
Well, because a lot of it had to do with like the competitions they had to do.
Right. Well, that was what I was saying. They kind of moved away from that because
They're still doing it in the 3rd season because I remember Doug Benson was in this one that was basically like a barking competition.
Yeah.
Barking, if you don't know, for all the non-comics out there.
They made them bark as a competition.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I can't.
which is you like stand on a street or walk around and tell people like, "Hey, there's a comedy
Hand out
show later.
flyers.
Please come to it. I'm performing."
Wow.
And then I think they based it on how many people actually showed up
How
at the
many
show
they
because
got.
of them.
Yeah.
Is that a New York thing? Because you don't really see that.
They
here.
do it other places.
We used to do it at Westside when Westside first started. Westside in like 2012, 2013, nobody knew where the fuck it was because Westside Comedy Theater is in an alleyway behind the Apple Store. in
That
Santa
stands to
Monica.
reason. It's kind of just back there.
So if the show, if we'd only sold like 6 tickets, they would just have people walk out onto the promenade and basically like try to get people to come.
There's some places it works really well at because there's lots of people just walking by. I did a show last week where the host was barking out front, and I saw her get a couple people in.
Yeah.
I knew a guy back in Texas who was so fucking good at it. He could like fill Wes Corwin could fill like half a fucking room.
Wow.
Because he was so polite and nice and I don't know. We're in San Marcos where there's like we do shows down there and it's a big college town. Not a lot of shit to do there. Except get drunk and some people would be like, "Oh, I want to do anything other than just get blackout drunk." So hey, I'll go check out this show.
It's a good sell.
I can get blackout drunk the other 6 days of the week.
Yeah, it's like you always present the option, and you can get blackout drunk here if you want.
Yeah,
it's fine. Just vodka though, not tequila. We all know how you get on tequila.
Rivers, I was gonna say, could you do like a cooking? Would you ever do a cooking one, like Hell's Kitchen or something?
I'm not professionally trained at all. You know,
that
and
doesn't matter.
Well, no, but I mean, a lot of those people have like a background in at least working in like kitchens, and I have too, I suppose. But I always like consider myself a cook and not a fucking chef of any kind.
Okay.
You could be like the Ringer on the show where they get like a bunch of professional, and then you just like got the talent and been doing it for a long time, but I don't got like the professional acumen
Well,
or
that's
whatever.
the thing is like a lot of those because we watch we stays watching MasterChef Junior over here.
Oh yeah, I love MasterChef.
which is the one with the kids.
Yeah.
And it's fucking hilarious because they have like adults sort of peculiarities, idiosyncrasies, where you're like, this kid is 8 years old and he has the vibe of like a 43-year-old chef who's just like, all right, God damn it. what's wrong with you guys? Like, but he, you know?
Just his parents coming out in every movie.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Like he's not actually.
Everyone loves watching like people who aren't this kid's parents screaming at a kid on reality shows. People love that.
Well, no, they kind of don't even have to scream at the kids. They just kind of like
Shame them.
No, the kids they are so stressed out because they probably have like, you know, insane parents that are like forcing them to be little chefs, and so the kids are already kind of stressed.
How do they criticize their food?
They give them spanking.
Corporally.
This peanut butter and jelly sandwich is icky yucky. It tastes like doo-doo, Brian.
Do better.
Do better. And you're ugly.
Any of your ants on a log is shit.
I think you could be on one of those shows though. Rivers. One of the people who won Top Shelf was like a pizza guy. He like worked. He like owned a pizza restaurant or something.
I think I've only ever really watched the MasterChef Junior, so I don't really know how.
See, I feel like you could be like America's favorite, even though you don't have the professional training. You could be the one that like gets it because everyone loves to watch you.
The one that I think I could do well at. Have you ever seen Guy's Grocery Games?
Oh yeah.
Guy Fieri hosts a show that's kind of a mashup between Supermarket Sweep and Iron Chef, where basically he comes out and he'll tell everybody like, okay, you need these ingredients, and then you got to make this thing, and then everybody runs and gets stuff and like tries to come up with something creative, and
it cuts to him and he's like eating out of a box of Cheez-Its and he's like, they're doing it, bro.
Guy ain't, you know,
welcome to Flavor Town. He's just like drinking the dust out of the bottom of the bag.
He's like tapping the bottom.
The little crunchies is the best part.
Having a lukewarm Diet Dr. Pepper with it.
I think I could do. I think I could do okay on that show.
So
but
like game show, you could do.
yeah, if there's like a where are you going to find this in this aisle or whatever?
Yeah.
Like,
What about the
Price
pro
is
wrestling?
Right.
Huh? What about the pro wrestling?
Tough Enough?
Tough Enough, yeah.
Fuck that.
If they had one for, I mean,
if they had one for like, you know, can you be a big shithead and make people hate you? I'm like, yeah, I could do that.
You do that every day. Come on,
all the time. That's how I live my life, bro.
I just auditioned I was one of the contestants. Like I was.
You're in the running.
In the running to be on a WWE reality show, actually.
What?
Yeah.
One?
It's it was called it was like I don't remember. Or Fight Like a Girl was called. And it's coming out on their what's the Quibi or something like
Quib.
Yeah, like they have their own like streaming platform now. That WWE's
the WWE Network.
Yeah, so it's like all the short ones, and so I went through like several rounds to be like basically it's like women who are trying to like improve their lives, and then they get sponsored for 10 weeks. I would have gone to Florida for 10 weeks and trained with a female wrestler.
Oh shit!
Which would have been awesome. Yeah, but turns out at the very end I got cut.
Oh, damn.
But it would have been awesome.
This fucking business.
Yeah, I auditioned for so many reality shows. There was a plastic surgery one that I was like, sure, I'll just audition for this, and then
you got on
Press Your Luck.
or what was the one you got on?
Cannonball was the one that I almost got on. That's the one where you basically like you
let them shoot a cannonball into you.
You basically go down a giant water slide and then you fly out and you try to hit a target in the water. And you're just supposed to be like a crazy like big character, but I don't think I was a big enough character. Like you have like weird costumes and they go down a big slide and then they just fly and do something crazy and they try to hit a target in the water.
What kind of insane coked out idea is this?
Dude, this is the rot of American society that I'm talking about.
I wish you would have gotten it. I think you would have killed it on that.
I would have loved it. I would have won money.
This is the rot of America. Like, you know, they talk about the fall of Rome. You know, the thing everybody sort of talks about leading up to it was the games.
Oh, really?
You know, the increase of games because they could no longer maintain state power, so they spent all their money on entertainment to try to just appease the population from not overthrowing them another day.
That's scary.
Yeah, and so and like I said, there was the Omarosa thing on Big Brother. The other one that comes to mind was the Splash.
Oh yeah,
where it was just like, we're gonna make a bunch of celebrities jump 40 feet into some water and see what happens.
Well, like
and they had Louis Anderson, who's like a very large man,
Yeah.
try to do a no splash dive off a damn high dive, and I'm like, this is what it looks like. This is
Pre-baskets, Louis Anderson, I guess.
Yeah, this was right before baskets. This was like the last thing that I heard about him doing before he kind of had that late
He
career
glowed up
resurgence.
again, yeah.
Yeah. He had to splash down and then he glowed up.
Yeah. Rough business.
So
rough
funny.
business.
Did he no splash it? I can't imagine.
No, it was awful to watch.
Yeah, I bet that was
He probably
uncomfortable.
I bet in slow motion though, it was kind of captivating to watch.
Probably like hit his head on the bottom of the pool.
Louis, you have made it so far. This hasn't been an easy journey.
No.
What's going through your mind right now? You're the last diver of the night.
I would hate to see Catherine go home. It's such a hard thing. We love each other, all of us. And so that's really the hardest thing. So
You guys have become a family here. Good luck.
thank you.
Because you're standing still. If your body matches what your eyes can do, you probably move right through me on my way to you.
Two gin-scented tears trickled down the sides of his nose. But it was all right. Everything was all right. The struggle was finished. He had won the victory over himself. He loved Big Brother.
I'm not paralyzed, but I seem to be struck by you. I wanna make you move, cause you're standing still.
Courtney, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me Twitter, Courtnacovia, Courtna.
Okay.
I'm private though, so we'll see.
Wow, mysterious. Okay.
So, I don't know. Instagram, Catwing Court.
Okay.
And that's it, really.
All right.
I quit comedy like 6 months ago, so I'm not
good.
doing any shows.
Okay. Well, you didn't quit comedy. You're here.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Gave the people some laughs. Hopefully they'll follow your private account. Awesome. Sam, where can people find you on the
Slam Harder on Twitter. LA Comedy Life on YouTube.
Carter?
You can. I recently revived my Twitter account. I'm going to be lurking on everyone's Twitter.
Oh, shit.
It's at Carter_Glasscock. There's another one that was started by me that's on there.
That you
I can't
don't
figure out the
know-
password, so there's just going to be 2 Twitters from me.
So if there's some hackers out there that can break into Carter's old Twitter and get him the handle back.
Well, I'm an idiot
That'd
because
be cool.
I started it with the email from my college email. So
and you
it's
can't-
expired. I can't get in there anymore.
Oh, wow.
We'll call somebody at the University of Alabama. Certainly.
I know a hacker.
All right, you know a guy that's cool.
You got a guy.
And I'm on Instagram at Dr. Clark, and that's it. Yeah.
Alrighty. And if you're listening to this and you're anywhere near East Alabama, on October 27th, come see me, past guests of the show, John Ozale, John Michael Bond, and I think Lisa Curry also are all going to be performing at The Hound on Sunday, October 27th. So if you like stand-up comedy, come out and see us. And even if you don't, come out and see us. It's Sunday. It's the day after a big football game. Everybody's going to be hungover, but God damn it, that's going to be a great show. So come out and see us. You can find our show on Facebook, facebook.com/thegoodspod. We're on Twitter @thegoodspod. Every episode ever, youtube.com/thegoodspod. Buy a shirt, prowrestlingtees.com/thegoodspod. And the best way to help out the best way to help our show is you can go to Apple Podcasts, rate, review, subscribe, and also tell a friend. Spread awareness about the Goods from the Woods.
Leave a comment.
Leave a comment. Yeah, need that comment. It shows the attitude of gratitude. And if you don't have the attitude of gratitude,
Carter's come to your house to take a big stinky shit. Stink up your whole house.
Hell yeah.
And we'll see you next week.
Take me home tonight. I don't wanna let you go till you see the light. Take me home tonight. Listen, only just like Ronnie sang. Take me home tonight. I don't wanna let you go till you see the light. Take me home tonight. Listen, only just like Ronnie sang. Take me home tonight. I wanna let you go till you see the light. Take me home tonight. Listen, honey, just like Ronnie said. Just like Ronnie said.
Goods from the Woods was mixed, edited, and distributed by me, Rivers Langley. You can find the show on Twitter at The Goods Pod. Our theme song was composed by DJ Smiles. Check him out on Twitter at DJ Smiles.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.